Let's get quirky. Let's get quirky. What is up, man? We're glad you are here. It's Let's Get Quirky Live, and my name is James Thorne. I am Chief People Officer here at Quirk Advertising. So, what is Let's Get Quirky Live? Well, my life motto is I'm always one person away from changing the course of my future. So that means I got to meet as many people as possible because you never know what's going to happen. It's how I built my business. It's how I built our team. It's how I've made massive shifts in my life because I've got to meet some incredible people from all over the world. So we decided to start this live stream actually in the midst of Rona. So if you're watching this in the future, something happened in 2020 and the world blew up. Well, we've been stuck at home, so we had to find a new way to interact with people. And so we started this live stream to bring in some great, incredible people every single week. So if you're catching this later, which is fine on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe down below so that you know when these videos are dropping in every single week. But if you're joining in with us on Facebook and you haven't done that yet, on live Thursdays at 3 p.m. Central, we're bringing people in. You can ask questions live and you can interact right then. That's why we're doing it live. We want to create more of a community and kind of bring this motto to life with others so that we can interact doing that live. But I also have a shameless plug today too. So before we get into the good stuff, I'm actually going to plug this evening. We're going to do a little bingo night tonight. So if you want to jump on, literally we're playing bingo. That's all we're doing. Me and my team at 8 p.m. are going on Facebook Live. We're going to send out virtual bingo cards who want to play. And if you win, you get Amazon gift cards. So we're just giving stuff away tonight. If you want to play, 8 p.m. Central Time, bingo. All right, I'm done. My shameless plug is over. Okay, so today, our incredible person we'll bring on in just a second. We're on episode number 16, y'all. We have already done 16 of these, and today's title is Growing by Giving More Away. We're going to talk about more of that in a second. But again, if you have questions, comments, please put that below. It's about a 20-second lag, but we will get to it and make sure they're asked, and we can interact together. All right, well, let's do like we do every week. We make a little introduction for our new guest. This intro is shorter than usual because it's to the point, clear, and just like what he does. So here we go. Most companies speak about their brand with the clarity of middle school boys asking a girl to the dance. As an expert marketing consultant, writer, and speaker, he has helped over 100 organizations say the right things to their audience and is helping brands figure out their messaging so more customers buy and revenue grows. Hailing from Atlanta, with wife and 2 kids and 1 on the way, I'm excited to introduce Wes Gay. What is up, Wes? Dude, oh, you're muted still, I think. Are you muted? Is that you or me?
Yeah, that's awkward. Hey,
He's like, hey, you were just making sure because I saw you laughing in the background, so you're just making sure it wasn't coming through, which is fine.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, and just so y'all know, which is awesome about this life motto, we literally just met for the first time 30 minutes ago. So we're just now interacting, getting to know each other. So this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, Wes, so you could talk about yourself now. Tell us a little bit about you and where you come from.
Well, yeah, born and raised in the South, lived in Florida until I was 9, lived in South Alabama until I graduated college down there too. Worked for about 10 years in the nonprofit space, in churches and nonprofits, and then for the last 3.5 years I've been doing something called the Story Brand Framework, which you and I were talking about beforehand. You guys are big fans of. That's how I know Chris, one of the folks on your team, helping people. I started in 2016 as as a certified copywriter. Now I run one of their certified agencies. Worked with a ton of brands. Was with a couple of companies today, even before this call, just helping them figure out what do we need to say so that people buy. I mean, we're in a world where, everything is visual, right? Instagram's big, and there's a lot of live videos like this one, and we watch a lot of YouTube content, etc. But never in the history of the world, I think, have words mattered more. I mean, when we're live right now, we've seen it over the last 10 days, what has happened nationally when different leaders, whether it's our president, whether it's been federal leaders, national, state, or state and local, whatever it is, their words have altered the courses of some of these protests and some of the other things going on. And words matter at every level of life. They matter in our marketing and in our business. And if we're going to grow our businesses and make more money, We have got to get the words right. And too many companies just, man, it's a big swing and a miss. So that's what I do. I help brands do that. And we use the story brand framework to make it happen, because storytelling is how the human brain is wired to better receive information. It's how we make sense of the world. Stories are, and story elements are how people get elected. It's how people believe nonsense. Like, I used to tell people from 2006, 2010 that Shamu was a robot. The big well down in Orlando. I worked for a nonprofit down there that every summer in college and for a year after college. By the way, if I keep looking that way, it's because my dog is over there, and I don't want him to lose his mind, because he is so very loud when he gets rowdy. So I want to keep him under control. Anyways, I worked for a nonprofit that did leadership development events for middle and high school kids. And so every week we had new groups come in, churches, schools, etc. Mm-hmm. And we would take them to SeaWorld, do behind-the-scenes tours. They'd see the Shamu show, ride the rides and all that. Well, about week 4 of my first year, I got kind of bored with our routine. And so I thought, I'm just going to start telling people that Shamu is the robot. So I concocted this whole story. And I didn't know it then, but I later discovered it was the same. That was the same year I used to tell people I was an underwater firefighting major. Is that if you create a good story, people will actually believe anything. Like, they'll go years thinking Shamu is a robot. They'll spend I had people convince my whole first semester of college I was an underwater firefighting major, which is so ludicrous. But if you just create a good story, it's amazing how people will believe it, regardless of whether or not it's true. Man, it happens all the time. So anyways, yeah, that's what I do.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, if you've followed us for any amount of time, you've heard a lot about StoryBrand. And Chris on our team, Certified Guy, that's how we, like I said, how we got to meet. But yeah, we're huge. Messaging is the power behind everything that we create, and the words that we use really take effect. We like to tell people, it's like, yeah, you can have an incredible looking designed website, but if it doesn't say the right words, do the right things, you just wasted all that money on the design. So yeah, so tell us about Wayfinder then. What is it that you actually do in the business for people?
Yeah, so we help people understand and implement StoryBrand in their business. So obviously it starts with messaging, right? We want to figure out what are the right words they need to say for their audience. And then from there, it's usually top level overall brand, and then we distill it down into the different marketing collateral. So a bunch of websites, lead magnets, lead generation, email marketing, content. Really, I mean, this is going to sound really vague, which is ironic considering we're in the clarity business. But it's anything involving words. So we've done pitch decks, we've done proposal decks, we've done sales letters, we've done sales collateral, we've done any kind of marketing collateral, email marketing content calendars. It really boils down to primarily anything related to getting the words right. Because I believe if you get the words right, everything else falls into place. So in terms of specifics, like I said, a lot of websites, a lot of just kind of messaging, consulting, brand positioning, and then a lot of foundational stuff in the StoryBrand world. We call it the StoryBrand sales funnel, which is a website, some kind of a lead magnet, email campaign, and then a follow-up to generate sales.
Cool. And do you position yourself more as that coach and you get other people involved to get the work done, or are you doing some of that work as well?
Yeah, so we do most of it's mostly done for you. So you've got designers and developers to do all the all that stuff, and then I always do the messaging piece, and then I'll sometimes write the content. Otherwise, I've got several copywriters that I'll leverage to get the content done.
Cool. I think that's good to know, because people can understand that you can come to you for all those things. You just got the right people in place and the right seats to do the work. You're just making sure the messaging makes sense on everything that they're using, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I want to make sure, like, are we saying the right things? Like today, I was with a company that is a retail store. It's a store that I've shopped at. I didn't even think about it. I carried the wallet I carried today is one I had bought at this guy's store a couple of years ago, and that was his big thing. Like, they've got a great brand, they're doing well revenue wise, but they have an enormous potential, and it's part of it is they're just not saying the right things. And you can literally see it on their Instagram page. Like the captions on Instagram, they may have 56 likes on one and then 832 likes on the next one. Yeah. And a lot of it, and the images aren't that much different quality. It's all about what's the story we're telling in even that caption.
That's really cool. So with that, guys, it's giveaway time, because we are actually going to be giving away some of his services, right? Here, let me switch back over here. All right, so let me switch. Oh, cool. Okay, so Wes, what are you giving away today?
Yeah, so I want to make sure that your marketing investment is paying off for you. And one of the ways that I can help do that is by looking at a piece of marketing material. So whether it's a website, landing page, a funnel, if you've got a Facebook ad, say going to a landing page, a lead magnet, an email campaign you're sending out, any piece of marketing collateral that you have that you would love a second set of eyes on, all you have to do, it's really simple. send me an email at wes@wesgay.com. So it's WES at WESGAY.com. And then tell me your name. Obviously, I'll have your email address. And then link to whatever it is you want me to review. I'll review it, and then I'll send you a video review of me doing it. And I'll also, to make this a little easier for you, go ahead and send you a transcript of the video. So if there's anything I say that you want to remember, you'll have a full transcript in a document that you can copy and paste and leverage if you want to. So any piece of marketing collateral you want me to review, that's wes@wesgay.com. Shoot me an email, and I'll get it back to you usually within about 2 business days.
Awesome. Okay, so we just dropped it in the comments, wes@wesgay.com. Jake on our team jumped on. He said, Shamu is a robot. I knew it. That's
Yeah. You know, if you've ever been to the Shamu years ago and they would actually have Shamu shows and the trainers in the water,
yeah.
whenever they would say we got to shut the show down, it's because somebody had to run to Radio Shack and get more wires. I mean,
that's all part of that story, man.
Yeah, man.
That's
and
awesome.
then I even told some kid, I was like, you realize why that one whale never comes out, right? And they said, no, why? I said, because that's the Windows whale, and it's always crashing, so they don't want to bring it out in the water. I said, but the big one, Tilikum, was the name of the big whale down there, or is the big name of the big whale down there. I said, whenever that one jumps up, watch under the left fin, and you'll see the Apple logo. That's how you know that's the one that's never going to crash on it.
The Apple logo.
Bro, I had SeaWorld staff involved. Like, I made up a fake law that Congress passed. I mean, the whole thing.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, that just tells you even more. This guy knows how to draw people into a story. We'll just do it the right way this time with your marketing.
We'll do it to help your business make money instead of lying to teenagers.
We're not going to lie to people. Yeah, we're going to make it effective. That's awesome. So, hey, send him an email. He'll take any piece of collateral you want to give him and review it, which is an incredible value. So please do that. Thank you for doing that, Wes.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's jump into today. In the heart of giving things away, right?
Yeah.
Like you're giving away this service. We try our best to see, like, man, what can we do to give away? In this noisy world, how can brands stand out without spending a ton on marketing? Like, what would you say in that theme as far as without spending a ton on marketing?
Yeah, I'd say one of the things that we think about with marketing is that it's always a dollar investment, right? We think, oh, I got to have this kind of ad budget for pay-per-click ads or Facebook ads or whatever. But for the vast majority of businesses, if you're not, even I would say for the service-based businesses, people who are in knowledge work, but even frankly product businesses, one of the things you can do is, if you don't have money, is invest a little bit of time. And the number one thing you can do with your time is go to where your audience is and start answering their questions. Right? So that might be on LinkedIn. It could be on Instagram. It could be on Twitter. It could be on Facebook. And it's more than likely going to be on somewhere like a YouTube, but specifically your website, right? Just simply answer questions. Because we were talking about this before we started the live. We have never had access to more information, but yet we've never been more uninformed, right? Just think about it. I mean, forget politics and current events aside. Like, just think about trying to fix something in your house, right? The toilet is making a funny noise. And you can't Google, my toilet's making a funny noise, right? That's not going to help you. It's like we have access to all this information, but we don't want to get to it. Right. Part of the problem is you have something going on with your toilet and you don't necessarily know how to fix it. You're going to go to the internet, right? We had a problem. I had a problem several months ago with the sink in our kitchen faucet, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so I wound up on YouTube and watched a video of like what the problem was. Like, oh, okay, that makes a ton of sense, right? And it was from a plumbing company. Now, they're not based in Atlanta where I live. If they were, I probably would use those guys next time, because I realized they were smart enough to spend 3 minutes on a YouTube video explaining a problem that I have, right? So think about the problems that people have. And a lot of people get stuck here. I mean, you and I are in a content business. We're constantly coming up with this stuff for other people.
Right.
So I try to think about, if I'm a business owner, I would say, what is the thing you sell? Let's say you're a financial advisor, right? What are questions people have? You could come up with 1,000 of what people have about the market, about good investment strategies, planning strategies, all the legal stuff, not tax avoidance, that's the bad thing. Reduced tax liability is the word we use with financial advisors, because tax avoidance sounds like Al Capone. But see, it's like, think about the specific questions and then just answer those questions. Right? Some people may say that you should charge people for your knowledge and expertise. And you will charge them when they come to you and ask you to do it for them.
Right.
Because most of the time, you can give away everything you know and do. But at the end of the day, people are still going to come to you and say, can you just do it for them? Because they want your expertise that they could never get in a video or a blog series. They're going to want you to just do it and take that responsibility off their plate.
Right.
So the biggest thing you can do is just start answering questions and giving value, right? My theory is if you give away value, you'll always be valuable, right? And if you're valuable, that means there's always a price tag that's going to come with it, right? You may not have, you're not going to be 100% with the people who you give stuff away to, who then you hire you. Even if you're 20%, 15%, you can build a pretty good business that way.
No, that's good. What are some of the little practical ways people can do it? Let's say they can't make a video or don't have the resource to do so. What's some of the little practical ways they can do that?
Yeah, so let's continue with the financial advisor, right? A lot of people aren't comfortable on video. They may have the resources, they just scares them to death. That red button just sends terror down their spine. It's like if they're Indiana Jones walking into a room full of snakes. So I would say the first thing I would do is think about what social media platform is your audience most likely on? Is it LinkedIn? I'm getting more into LinkedIn lately. Because it's less ridiculous than the other ones, which I appreciate. It's just business stuff. It's straightforward, none of the nonsense. Yeah. And if anybody brings nonsense, they get shut down.
Yeah, seriously.
It's so fun. But let's say you're on LinkedIn, right? So think about, if I'm a financial advisor, what is one specific question I have heard from a client or prospect in the last 2 weeks? Or what's something going on as it relates to finances that I haven't found a good answer yet, that I know my clients aren't finding a good answer for, or that I think people are going to misunderstand, right? So one of those two things. What's something that people are asking you, or what's something people might misunderstand? Think of that question and get really clear on the question. So I've got a financial advisor in Southern California right now, and that's one of the things he and I have talked about every week. He's actually making PowerPoint slides with kind of a weekend review of what in the world just happened. And then he's recording himself on a Zoom call, walking through those slides, and that's it. No camera, nothing. You're just explaining stuff and then sending that to his clients. But you might think about what is a specific question, and then go on LinkedIn or Facebook and then start with the question in quotation marks, and then answer it, right? Tell me why, what the problem is that question addresses. Explain what I may not know, and then tell me what I either need to do or tell me the things I specifically need to know about that thing, right? So either way, end with either action or information, but give me something clear and concise that's tangible to me. The worst thing you can do is give people stuff that like you get through it and they go, okay, now what? Right? Don't leave with a now what.
No, that's good. You know, guys, if y'all didn't catch that you could just walk away right now and go do those things, and you've gotten a powerful resource to walk away from today's live stream. Like, do that. The small steps of just doing that, figuring out. I mean, always thinking ahead. What are my clients dealing with? That's a key point. But you can just go in, like you said. Like, I love the Zoom example because it's like this guy's just creating some random slides. I'm sure they don't look great. I'm sure it doesn't. It's just he's just throwing something up there, talking about it because it's real good content, and then sending it to his clients, which is awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't have, and don't let, I'm going to go on a tangent here. This is my imaginary soapbox, this side of the screen, so I can pull my mic over. Don't feel like it has to be something super fancy and high level production. If you haven't watched the television in the last 8 weeks or 10 weeks, everybody is at home and nobody on television seems to own an external microphone. You notice that? Like Charles Barkley, that dude's got more money than I ever will. And he's on an interview and like you hear the echoiness of his office because it's a bunch of hard surfaces. He's on his computer. He looks like he doesn't know how to operate the thing. Like, who cares, right? I mean, you've got people who are Mark Cuban, who I love, right? And close to you guys.
Yeah, right next door.
He's a tech guy, and I've seen him on interviews, and he's not even using AirPods. Like, he's just using his iPhone like on a stand. He doesn't care. The lighting's not good.
His hair's a mess, yeah.
His hair's a mess. He's in a cut-off T-shirt. He does not care. Like,
right.
We are seeing now more than ever that presentation doesn't matter. It's the quality of the content that's in it. So what is it you're saying that is it bringing real value and are you delivering in a way that people understand? I'm telling you, if you just did that for 10 minutes a day, every day of the week, that's going to be the best investment you can make in your marketing all year, hands down.
Awesome. No, that's huge. Okay, so in that vein now, Wes, I want you to give some examples and reasons like why generosity has been so effective for you.
Yeah, so for me, I started this business a little over 3.5 years ago. I'd been unemployed for about 6 months. We were talking about before the call. It just hit me today. I was in the middle of the greatest economy in the history of the world, and I couldn't get a job. That is an embarrassing reality, and it's really unfortunate. So anyways, I started a brand new job, or I started basically my own business in a thing I had never done before, which is working for myself, specifically with marketing and copywriting. I'd always been worked in nonprofits and churches, and so I needed a way to promote myself and show that I was, as we talk about a lot, the guide. I had the authority and the expertise to help people, but I didn't have the portfolio. I didn't have the background. And so I thought, how do I do that? Right? How do I build that? Well, what if I just do it for people? What if I just, instead of telling them why they should hire me, I just show them? And so I got certified by StoryBrand on a Monday and Tuesday in October of 2016. Got home Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, woke up and I was in a panic because we had a 2-year-old, a 6-month-old, lived in my mother-in-law's house, been unemployed for 6 months, and had nowhere to go. Already had debt. Now I had $5,000 more in debt from the certification. I thought, oh man, this better work. So I get up on that Wednesday morning and I log into Slack. There was a Slack workplace for anybody who had gone through a StoryBrand event at that point. And there was a channel in there called Peer Feedback. And I thought, well, voila, these are my people. These are people asking about their websites, their emails, their lead magnets, their one-liners, all that stuff. And I am now uniquely qualified by the power vested in StoryBrand as one of their certified people. And so I just started to show up and I was like, I'm just going to answer their questions. I don't want to be that sleazy sales guy. I've never been a pushy sales guy. That's just not me. It annoys me. So I know it annoys other people and I just don't want to be what annoys me. And so I just started answering questions. That was it. And within 3 days or a week, I had a client and I quoted that client more than almost as much as I'd ever made in a month. And I almost passed out when she said yes. Looking back, she said yes too fast, so I didn't charge enough. But that's another Facebook
We
Live
all
conversation.
learn. We all learn.
And then within 6 weeks, I had 6 different. I had 6 clients. We were blown and going full time, and it just took off. But I learned the more I just answer people's questions, the more I just tell them what they need to know. I mean, literally today, I was on 2 Zoom calls with people, and I walked them through their home pages and said, if you hired me, here's exactly what I would do, and here's exactly what your website would say, and here's exactly how I'd lay it out. Now, do we charge people to do that for them? Yeah, right. Did I spend in 45 minutes or an hour today doing that for 2 people? Yeah. Are they going to become clients? Probably not. Oh, well. Like, I gave them great value. I tried to serve them as best I could. If it comes back and they hire me, great. Yeah. If not, I'm going to keep doing it because I know it works. You get a chance to demonstrate your skills. In a social media world where everybody is screaming about how great they are at stuff, we need people to just start showing others how good they are at stuff.
Yeah.
Like, don't just post on Instagram or Facebook about it. Literally show me the work you're doing and explain it to me and walk me through it and demonstrate your skills. You're going to get much further than going any other way.
That's good. That's really good. So what are some other things that brands can give away beyond just that? Like what would you say ways brands can give things away?
Yeah. I can't say enough. Give away your expertise. Like, if you're a marketing agency like you and I are, how can we answer marketing questions, for example? If you're a financial advisor, answer finance questions. If you're one of the industries I've worked with some is real estate, right? People buy houses, residential real estate. You buy a house once every 5 to 7 years, maybe, right? If you're in a higher traffic or a kind of higher turnover place, maybe every 3 to 5 years, maybe, right? But that's even just for the younger crowd. As you get older, you're going to stay in a place longer because you know how awful it is to move. It's terrible. And so as a real estate agent, it's like, what do you do to get repeat customers or to stay top of mind so you can drive better referrals? Well, think about how you can provide value to somebody when it regards maybe to real estate or home ownership, because real estate is obviously part of home ownership. Those things are inextricably linked. How do you make sure those two things are connected in a way so that you stay top of mind as the expert in that space, right?
Yeah.
Think of just the giveaway information. Really practically, it's social media, organic. It's your website as a blog. It is a email. Man, email is king still, regardless of what anybody tells you. Email is still the king, and it's not even close. So think about all the ways that you can leverage the different marketing channels to just answer questions and help people better figure stuff out. One way I've seen people do lately is I worked with a guy who's a real estate agent, and he's building a coaching business. But one thing he's been doing is he's using his platform to get other experts in front of his audience. So every day he's doing a Facebook Live with somebody who's not necessarily directly related to his clients, but they're the kinds of people who may serve him in parallel to what he does.
That's good.
Right. So if you're a financial advisor, maybe you do a live interview with a CPA because you're not a CPA. Or if you're a real estate agent, you do one with a mortgage broker or a real estate attorney or a interior designer. I don't know. But think about how you can also make connections and give value by connecting people to other businesses who serve your same audience, but in parallel, so that you're not giving away your competition.
No, that's good. So this is a lot from your experience too now, over the past so many years, but do you ever see where this can backfire or you've given too much away? Is there a point you can give too much away?
When you start doing stuff for people, yeah. Like if you start doing pro bono work, like there's a difference between giving away kind of just knowledge, right?
Right.
And just somebody emails me and I'll say, yeah, do this, this, and this, or I'll explain that, whatever. Excuse me. There's a difference in that and then me going in and just doing it all.
Right.
Right. So I think about it really in three ways. One, I may give away pieces of my head, my brain. That's usually free. I'll just answer stuff, take call. I get phone calls from friends of mine, other agencies, whatever,
Sure.
marketing folks, business owners. I'll chat. I'm happy to chat. Usually I charge for my hands, so the work that I'm going to have to get done. And then it's more when it's my head and my hands. Like if I'm having to do all the thinking and all the work, it's going to cost more.
Right.
Because it requires more focus. But I don't know. I mean, it can backfire if you start giving away, obviously, trade secrets. It can backfire if you start giving away stuff that your competitors can use as weapons. But even then, like,
Sure.
you can give away stuff that your competitors might use against you. And I've helped clients navigate from a marketing and even PR perspective what happens when competitors try to attack you.
Yeah.
You just simply take the higher ground and continue being generous. Like,
Right.
you just don't be a jerk like your competitors might wind up being, and you'll always be the nice guy, and you'll be the people that you'll be the expert that people are looking for, and you'll be the person that people call when they need you.
That's a really good perspective. We see the same thing. I mean, when we feel like we're doing a lot and giving it away, we find the people that aren't going to do the hard work and actually figure out how to do it themselves. And they're like, oh, you've shown me how to do this, but I just don't have the time. And those are probably your best clients because they've got some resources and they're like, you know what, it's going to be a good investment for someone else that does this all the time to do it. Versus me trying to figure it out because I got better things to spend my time on. So yeah, there have been times I've been nervous. Like, oh, we're putting this thing out there. Like, we put so much energy into this. Like, people are just going to rip us off and never use. But then every time we do, it's like, no. Like, we get people that take it and use it and do it themselves, great. But then we get the percentage of people that are like, awesome, this is phenomenal. Y'all need to do this. And there's our business.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, frankly, I know it works. I just have to dedicate more time to it myself where, you know, you may give something away. I mean, I got a friend of mine. He's one of the StoryBrand guides. His one of his biggest lead sources has been a website wireframe for churches that he made. And yeah, he put a lot of work into it. It's great. I've seen it. I mean, he did a great job on it. Could he charge people for it? Sure. Does he? No. Has it been not only a great way to build his email list, a great lead source, but it's also been a great referral source because what happens is when you're generous to somebody, they may join your email list, they may sign up for your thing, whatever, but they are also more likely to refer you because you have positive associations in their mind with the problem that you solve or the thing that you do. And I've had people that have called me, emailed me, set up a call, whatever, to do a project, and I'll say, well, how did you find out about me? Like, oh, so and so recommended you. Like, I don't know who that is. Right. But it's probably more than likely somebody who from an email list or an event or I don't know, some other thing.
That's cool. I think another perspective, and this is not to boast us, I just realized it while we're talking. We're competitors in this field today, me and you. Like what you're doing, you know, people can go to you and make that money versus us, and I'm cool with it because it's like at the end of the day, we can't take care of everyone, and there's enough, you know, there's enough pie for everyone, right? Like that saying, or there's enough slices for everyone. Yeah, I mean, I'm literally right now this week working on a Google Doc with another StoryBrand certified agency owner on the West Coast about how we can start a mastermind group for other people just like us. And it's like, that sounds ridiculous. Right. Because we're all technically competitors and we all have the same listing. Right. And I know right now, I don't even know if he knows this. He will if he watches this.
he and I are going up for the same project. Like I
Yeah.
know he's already sent a proposal to a client. I also know that he overpriced it, so I should probably tell him. I will. But then I also know like he and I are going to. But I still like the guy. Like
Right.
you said, there's a when it comes to marketing, there's a giant pie. There's 28, 27 million small businesses in the U.S. Even in the midst of a global pandemic, there's still tens of millions of businesses who need marketing help. So
Yep.
there's plenty of work to go around. It doesn't take a giant client list to do well. It really doesn't.
No, I like that. I think for those of you watching, whatever you do, lock arms with someone that's in the same arena that you can share,
Hmm.
grow, build partnerships, whatever that might look like. But it's the idea
Yeah.
of just building community. There's a saying actually, and I'm sure it's a lot of people say this, but one of the businesses that I'm a part of is just a wedding photography videography business, which was hit really hard during all this. But the whole saying in that wedding industry is community over competition. Community competition, and
That's good.
I've come to adapt that in the terms of like, yeah, it's like let's just build community with people because at the end of the day, we were talking about this before we got on. It's like when you're lying on your deathbed, you're not going to be thinking about the projects you made and
Uh-huh.
that huge deal that you landed back in whatever year. You're going to be talking about the people and that you live life with and the fun memories you've shared, and
Right.
that's what matters. So I think if we can get back to the core of why we're doing business in the first place, because there's other reasons beyond your brand, then I think that's where it's like, oh, you know what, I can do this and give things away.
Yeah. Yeah, and it goes back to kind of what I said earlier, which is we're in desperate need of actual experts to give us actual expertise. There's a book I want to read called The Death of Expertise, and it's more about from kind of a political news media standpoint. But it's kind of true in everything. I mean, how many
Hmm.
knuckleheads do you run across on the internet who claim to be marketing minds,
Oh
and you
gosh.
read their stuff and like this is, I mean, you're better off setting paper money on fire than spending your
Yep.
money on this guy or this joker, and they're all jokers. If you're any '90s wrestling fans on, they're jabronis. But the reality is like I see that and I go, you know what? The problem is though, they know that people are asking these questions, so they're trying to answer them. They're just giving bad answers.
Yeah.
Right? We live in a world where now we don't type in phrases anymore on Google. We literally ask questions. How do I do this?
Hmm.
How do you convert teaspoons to tablespoons? What is
Hmm.
this? Right? Those kinds of questions. We ask them to our iPhones. I can't say it because she's right here, and I start a robot thing.
She's already listening.
We
Yeah.
I don't. My Alexa's in the other room, so I'll say it. Alexa. Hopefully, everybody's Alexa just turned on. Like we don't say Alexa weather. We say, Hey Alexa, what's the weather today? Right?
Yep.
So we live in a questioning world, and when it comes to the thing that you do and the problem that you solve, people are looking for answers, and they may as well get their answers from you. Right? So just give away those answers, and they'll eventually pay you for it.
Right. That's good.
So,
That's really good. Um, Man, that's and to me that is the point of today. Like we're just trying to make sure that people understand that it's okay. Start small if you have to, right? Like
yeah.
it's almost like Arena's book, Profit First, and it's about putting stuff
Oh
back in
yeah.
money. And it's like, he's like, just do 1% today. You can do that. It's like do
Yeah.
1% today or whatever.
Exactly.
So it's like, but it helps you kind of step into just try it and see what happens.
Hmm.
And if it doesn't work, give me a call and I will do whatever I need to do to help you. Like if it's going to work. So yeah, anything else come to mind that you'd like to share in that vein?
Yeah, don't let execution get in the way of it. In other words, don't think you have to be at a certain point in terms of don't think you have to design something, don't think you have to have a video set up. Like I've got a webcam and a ring light and I
Sure.
you can't see my headphones and I've got a microphone and the boom stand, the whole deal. I'm on video calls every day. I love gear and I love stuff with lights and buttons and switches. So I have that stuff. But I've done it from my iPhone. I just hit record and go. Like you can
Right.
don't think it has to be super fancy. You never know until you just try it. And what you'll probably find is the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and the more clarity you'll find. So just show up somewhere and start. Right? It doesn't have to be 300 words. You could do something really valuable in 50 or 75 words on a LinkedIn post. Right?
Right.
It doesn't have to be much. Just try something and see what happens.
That's good. Content is king. You just need to get
Mm-hmm.
stuff out there. People don't care about it being fluffed up, produced. Actually, we've seen higher wins and results on online courses that we've done with people that are just shooting from their computer versus being overproduced.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of our clients. They did a whole Amazon course from their computers, launched it, and they made 60, 70 grand in like 2 months on this course.
Wow.
they took the money to reproduce it and made less on the people were asking for where those other videos were because they thought it was more raw and felt it more personable.
That's kind of funny and bad all at the same
It is
time.
bad. Yeah, it was not fun to like have
It's a really interesting lesson. Yeah.
It is, and I think that's the point. Like they started realizing they didn't need to spend money on that stuff, and they needed to just get the content out there because that's what people needed, and that's my point. So, sorry if y'all are listening. That was a rough time, but but I think that was a good point because I like to produce things too. Even this show is a little more produced than other people would probably have together. It's fun for me. But I'm not gonna do things that aren't fun. So if it's not fun, then I'm just gonna get content out there. Well, Wes, that was fun.
Yeah, it was.
I feel like it was fun. Okay, I'm gonna plug what you mentioned again earlier. I'm gonna actually show the screen with your websites on it. Okay, wesgay.com. Okay, guys, and then hirewayfinder.com. Just check out either one of those. Connect with Wes, and what he's doing is anyone who watches this video, you shoot him an email, wes@wesgay.com. Send him any collateral you want him to look at. It could be a website. It could be a print piece. It could be a PowerPoint. Whatever you're thinking might be helpful for your business today, send that to him, and he's going to review it absolutely free. So I would do that because it's great. And he does what we do, and we say go to Wes, guys. He's incredible. So I'm excited to see what this does for you, but also for us to stay connected. I'm glad that Chris brought us together. But is there anything else that you want to share in this vein or with the audience?
I don't think so. I mean, again, send me an email. I'll review anything you got. I'm glad to help you any way I can.
Cool. Well, guys, there's no point going any longer if we've made our point because I think that it was great. So get out there, put some content in front of people, start giving things away. Let us know how it works because we know it's going to. But if you want to join in next week, we're bringing on Tom Oswald. He's another business owner, and he's going to share called Removing the Middleman and ways to grow in your business. So join us next. I'm going to switch over. Gives you the graphic there. Thursday, 3 p.m. Central Time. If you want to go live, ask questions. We didn't have a lot today, but that happens. But a lot of people are going to watch this on YouTube afterwards. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe below so you get those when they go live. But like usual, Wes, this is the fun part. We get to close out in a dance. So he was very excited about this when I told him. So we're excited to do this.
I am ready to perform the hitch. That's what I call it. Just stay right here.
All right, here we go. And there it is. There it is.
You don't need no pizza. I got food there. Right here.